Let's talk about all the things you should have in your mobile bartending contract in order to make it the most efficient. So when you are booking events, you have your ass covered, etc. Make sure you hit save now. I'm actually bringing up my exact contract so I can go over this with you guys. Okay, so first and foremost, I just want to say there's a way to design your contract so that it's really freaking easy for you and your clients to use. And I really recommend doing it in a way so that you don't have to essentially spend hours designing a contract every single time you get someone interested in your services. So having one standard contract is so ideal, and it's exactly what I do. So first of all, if you ever want access to my contract, it's inside the Mobile Bartending Playbook, which is linked in my profile, so feel free to check that out. But let's go over this. Okay. First and foremost, I want to say you always want their information obviously at the top of the contract. This I actually have my clients fill out themselves. So I'll ask for their name. I'll ask for the second client name if there's like another host of the party. I will have their event date, the venue address, their mailing address, email address, phone number, guest count. And then obviously our service end time and start time is really important. So I have them write that down as well. That way they're filling out the entire information themselves. So if there's any mistakes, honestly, the client is the one that filled it out. So it's just really, really nice. And what I always do once I've filled out this contract is I start having Zoom meetings with my clients. I usually do 2 per client. And we always go over all the information they filled out just to make sure that it is accurate, that we show up at the right time, etc. Now from there, I really recommend just having one package. I feel as though having multiple packages is really confusing for buyers. So if you just have one package where it's like, we do this every single time, okay? We serve for this many hours, we bring this stuff with us, so cups, straws, napkins, garnishes, basic bar setup, and coolers, and basically one bartender is my basic package, okay? So that is every contract is like, that's what you're getting. Now, if you want additional things, like maybe you want another bartender, maybe you want an additional bar setup for your cocktail hour, maybe you want a tent rental, that's something we have on here. Maybe you want to rent something from us. We do have a wooden bar now that's available to rent, so if they want to add that on, they can. If they want, a water station, ice, mixers, table wine service where we go around and pour wine at dinner. If they want a champagne toast service. All of that stuff is an add-on for them to add to their contract, okay? After that, I do always want to specify, so like, are we doing beer and wine? Are we doing beer, wine, and spirits? Are we doing, just like any type of custom bar, like a mimosa bar or whiskey bar, etc.? And then from there, I will have them tell me like, are we indoors or outdoors, etc. Okay? Now, the best part too is just making sure you have some things set up. So for instance, there's a lot of bookings that happen where they don't want a tip jar out. So make sure in your contract, it's like, we have a gratuity minimum. This is how much you'd have to pay basically per person to essentially get rid of our tip jar. Make sure that you specify like your deposits, like when are those happening and how are they happening? Also, I always recommend doing, 50% upfront and then the other 50% 30 days prior. Never show up to an event unpaid, okay? It's really awkward tracking down, like especially a bride and groom, and you're like, oh, you're in your first dance, but I need money. Just really awkward, so don't do that. Also, you're always going to want an indemnification and hold harmless agreement, okay? The reason being is that you don't want to be liable for anything if anything were to go wrong at the event. You are not responsible for other vendors. You're not responsible for the venue that they're like hosting their event at. So just put that in your contract, okay? Okay. The other thing is that have your contract checked by a lawyer in your state, okay? If you want access, like I said, to my exact contract, go to the Mobile Bartending Playbook in the link in my profile. It has my exact contract for you to use as your own.